I just finished Arcane Act 3 and I am in shambles, so in order to cope, let's make a video about it. As I've now had time to fully digest the line and how it works in the actual show, I do have some thoughts that are beyond what I said in the original reaction video. And this video dives more into how Clancy and Viktor are connected and how possibly the line is connected to the 21 Pilots lore. First and foremost, there will be potential spoilers for Arcane Act 3 and maybe some of the other acts, so if you haven't watched Arcane Season 2, maybe watch that first, or if you don't care, watch on. But maybe talking about some spoilers, so warning. Another thing I just want to put out there, don't be the fun police. Okay, don't be the fun police and be like, this isn't lore related, this is Arcane related, this is Viktor, not Clancy. I don't need the fun police coming in here. Okay, because first of all, Tyler Joseph is such a fantastic songwriter and storyteller. A lot of 21 Pilots songs in general have double meanings, and songs can be multifaceted, and I think it's important that we remember that. Second of all, songs can have meaning beyond their original intention, beyond what the creator intended the song to be. I think if a creator is like, that's actually incorrect, this is what the song meant because I wrote it, I think you're absolutely holding back art and what it should be. It truly is a disservice to what you're creating because art can be so many things depending on who you ask. If somebody listens to a song and they have a certain takeaway from that, then that's just as important as the creator's original intention, because to that's real to them. And I think the day that you guys realize that two people can listen to the same song and have drastically different interpretations and neither one of them are wrong is the day you'll finally be free and finally get what art truly is. And also, again, this is just fun. It's for fun. We're having fun around here. I just want to say up front that Arcane is truly different from other soundtracks that I've seen in the past. It seems like in most movies, they'll just pick a big name just so like people will watch the movie because of the artist that's attached to it. With Arcane, it really does seem like they try to fit an artist with a certain character, and they do it really, really well. As the title of this video suggests, we are going to be getting into Clancy and Viktor, which is a perfect match, but another example I can think of off the top of my head is Ash Nico and Jinx. They are practically the same person. And yes, Jinx is my favorite character, if you're wondering, and I know you were wondering, Jinx is my favorite.
What's wrong with my pants?
But I think when you pair an artist with a character that is like them in a lot of ways, you get a song about them that feels genuine, that feels real. And of course, with a show like Arcane, who puts so much love and care into every detail, this only pushes their storytelling even that much further, and it makes it all that more amazing. It also makes different interpretations pop up because I think because Viktor is so much like Clancy, you can't help but make connections to Clancy's storyline when you hear this song. If you go through line by line, in the line by line, in the line, what would you do if when you okay so he said yes would go? Literally every lyric can be connected to Clancy's storyline in some way. And there has been a lot of Twitter threads and Instagram posts diving into the actual lyrics, but I want to talk about the actual story arcs of these two characters. Starting out with the fact that both Clancy and Viktor have religious themes. Obviously, religious themes is something very important to 21 Pilots, so when I heard that they were dealing with the character who is basically Jesus, I was not surprised because religion is something that they hone in on a lot with their lyrics and also the universe that they have created. One of these religious ties is the idea of a prodigal son. Of course, that is a lyrical reference in Overcompensate, but the whole idea of it is that this is a rambunctious person who was very reckless, and then as they age and realize the error of their ways, they come back and try to make amends. You can say that both Viktor and Clancy are prodigal sons in their own way. Obviously, in the case of Viktor, he was a young, rambunctious scientist who was very excited about the idea of hex tech and got so caught up in it that he really didn't realize the dangers of what this could be until it was too late. Because it was too late, he went on this villain arc and tried to make it better through the idea of this glorious evolution. Clancy, much like Viktor, was once young and reckless. When he was first in Dima, he was mainly focused on just escaping. He also blew up a car in front of Nico, just regular rambunctious stuff. But as the storyline progressed, Clancy realized that it wasn't just escaping anymore, it was actually defeating Dima. Both Viktor and Clancy took a little bit of time to realize their full potential and to step into their power. Along with that, there is some form of transformation with both of these characters. In the case of Viktor, we have Robot Jesus, of course. In Clancy's case, we don't really have confirmation yet, but recent lore developments are pointing us in the direction that Clancy may become a bishop. And I've made an entire video on that if you're interested in that. Shameless plug, what can I say? But if Clancy becomes a bishop, he is becoming a villain just like Viktor. But like Viktor, I think Clancy, in his own mind, is thinking that he's doing this for the right reasons. If he becomes a bishop, he can literally destroy Dima from the inside out. If he's in charge of the thing, he can destroy it. But with that transformation does come a bit of shame.
Shame! Shame!
Both Viktor and Clancy are obviously ashamed of what they have become in some sort of way, as we can see in the line. And Clancy, again, there's not a lot of confirmation here, but if he does become a bishop, it's very obvious that the Banditos and possibly even Torchbearer would have some resentment towards that, considering this is what they have been fighting, and then all of a sudden Clancy just joins them. But obviously both Viktor and Clancy think that this is for the greater good, even if the people around them can't understand how they feel about it. Now, along with Final Forms is this theme of sacrifice. Both Viktor and Clancy are ready to sacrifice themselves if it means contributing to the greater good. But they're not doing this alone. Both of them have their right-hand man. Viktor has Jace, and Clancy has the Torchbearer. Now, both Jace and Torchbearer seem like very straight shooter guys. Both of them kind of represent the idea of the good side, even though Jace is questionable sometimes. But both of these characters keep our main characters in line. They keep pulling them back into the good side just when you think that they've strayed too far gone. There was a scene in Act 3 that reminded me a lot of the Torchbearer, and it was a scene between Jace and Viktor. And Viktor says, "Why do you persist? Why are you still here? Why do you still believe in me? Why do you think that I can still be good?"
Why do you persist after everything I've done? Because I promised you.
And that reminded me a lot of the Torchbearer, who is always there to save Clancy and pull him back just when he thinks he's too far gone. Both Jace and the Torchbearer believe in this person and believe that there's still good that can exist. Because of that, they're always pulling their buddy back to the good side. Now, going back to the idea of religious themes, there has been connections that Jace and Viktor are a bit like Jesus and Judas, and that Jace did betray Viktor. Will that happen for Torchbearer and Clancy? I'm not sure. I hope not. I mean, he said in that letter, "I'm covering you," so hopefully he doesn't betray him, but who knows at this point? Another great similarity between these two characters is the idea of the glorious evolution and the glorious gone. Both of these concepts have the word glorious in it, and both of them involve possession. Let me explain. The concept of the glorious evolution with Viktor is the end game that he is trying to get to. He can take over the minds of all of these people, and they are one united hive mind. A glorious gone in the 21 Pilots universe is someone who has taken their own life, and they are now an available vessel for a bishop or Clancy to seize and take control of. Both of these ideas, both of these concepts involve somebody taking control of someone else's body. And both of these ideas are ultimately the end game. The greatest thing that you can do, the biggest sacrifice that these people can do, is give their bodies over. In the glorious evolution, obviously, this is like the hive mind. Everyone thinks the same because everyone is Viktor.
He's Squidward, you're Squidward, I'm Squidward!
And that's the end game for him. With the idea of the glorious gone, this is the concept of vialism. This is the ultimate thing that you can do. The end game of vialism is becoming a glorious gone. I just found that very, very interesting because when I was watching Arcane, when the line actually came up, just watching the glorious evolution take place, it reminded me a lot of the glorious gone and seizing and all of that good stuff. Now, this really was a happy coincidence. I'm not saying that Arcane and 21 Pilots teamed up and purposely made two characters that are very, very similar. But looking into both of their stories, I can see why so many people are making connections to Clancy's storyline mind because it's basically the same as Viktor's if you squint. But I think the main reasoning as behind why these stories are so similar is the religious ties. This idea of a Jesus-like character is probably why they were so similar in the end, but I'm loving it. Honestly, I'm here for it. Because again, if we can have a song off a soundtrack that doubles as a soundtrack and part of the lore, I'm here for it. Because as I said in my reaction video, again, I know Tyler Joseph, and he is going to put lore where he can put lore. I mean, it happened with Heathens. Why couldn't it happen for The Line? And I just find like the whole timing of it interesting because right before this song dropped, we were introduced to the idea that Clancy may become a bishop, and we're setting up this idea of Clancy literally crossing the line of like, I'm going to become what we have been fighting, you know, are you going to hate me for that? It was the perfect setup to introduce a song like The Line, and maybe this is part of it. But as I said, this is all for fun. Even if it's not an official piece of the lore, I don't think Tyler would hate us if we did try to make it part of the lore, because the whole thing with 21 Pilots, you know, is create things to give your life meaning and to create and use art to fight our demons and whatnot. So if Tyler saw us theorizing and creating our own storylines through his art, I don't think he'd be upset about that, and you shouldn't be either. But yes, those were just some observations I made while watching Arcane and listening to The Line. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you can give this video a like and subscribe to join the Groovy Graveyard, and I will see you in the next one.